Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods or, in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on while drinking bubbly, sparkly water.
Drinkling.
I'm Kendra.
And I'm Scott.
Yeah. I do have a request from a student who's recently started listening to the podcast.
Uh-oh.
And you're like a big hit with all my students, so I think he like maybe wanted me to tell you hi or something, and it's a different one than the one who's like had me tell you stuff before.
Oh, okay.
So shout out to Nate.
What's up, Nate?
He sent me an email to remind me that says, "Don't forget to tell the pod that the potty master says hi."
The potty master?
Yeah, and then it said thank you, and then it said in first name last name we trust.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he wrote his first and last name, but
Right. What's up, dog?
yeah. We appreciate your listenaging.
The
Listenage.
I'm gonna drinkling my Gatorade, and while you're listening,
and I'm drinkling my bubbly.
Yeah, we're off to a hot start.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rearrange this because now you can't see my on-air sign.
It's a disaster.
And now I have to look more like if I'm looking at you now, I'm looking even more to the left.
Oh yeah.
I guess I don't need notes for this episode, so I can put it on I'll switch it.
You wow. Side-eyeing everybody.
I realized I forgot how much better the picture looks on my actual laptop monitor, which is better than on the extra monitor I have that is not good. Like the picture quality looks so much better on here.
My monitor's not very good either.
Yeah, because I mean my MacBook has like a good monitor. Before we hop into Shoe Corner, I'm so mad because the other day I came in here and I was looking for like an empty, because I have a bunch of these little like notebook things that I like write random stuff in. And I kind of want to write like a memoir.
A memoir.
I know that's weird, but I had some notes in this one, and then I was looking for notes in another one, and I completely knocked my little dude down that I painted, and it broke into 4 pieces.
Damn.
This little piece goes on the back of his helmet.
Wow.
And I need to glue it, but I need some of the stuff that makes a super glue dry fast, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to put it back together. And this is like the best thing I've ever. Oh well, I don't know. Your Goku's actually pretty good. That's probably the hardest. Well, actually, the first thing I made you was also the hardest. Yeah. But like, I was really proud of this one because I got better at the skin tone shading.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like so upset that I knocked it down. And I started painting this chick at like the same time. I actually just canceled my Loot Studio subscription because I haven't been using my printer, and I was paying like $15 a month for bundles.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I haven't even finished Jackie's present yet. Like, yikes. Jeez.
From Christmas.
I know. Well, she wasn't going to be able to take it home with her anyway, so.
That is true.
But I'm so mad because like the base broke.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it broke right where it attaches to him, so it should be okay. But I'm going to have to like rough it up because the resin is like so smooth when it breaks that it doesn't, they don't want to join. Anyways,
that's exciting.
Yeah, I put 2 of my shoe boxes together. The directions are wrong, so the doors end up wrong, but that's okay.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that those Jordans that I got aren't like a super high number and that someone will buy my pair. So far they only have like 2 views, but they haven't released yet, so I'm hoping that after they release, because there's really not like any pairs on eBay right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like them, which I knew was going to happen. I just have like absolutely like 0 green clothes. And like I would never wear them probably.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get so black or green.
Yeah. But I think that I'll probably, if I can't sell them, I'll just trade them again, because I really like those Skyline dunks. Or I mean, Jordan 1s. And they released on like websites, but not Nike or something.
Yeah, I never saw them pop up.
But it shows that like the official release date has passed and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and those will probably lose value. So I could probably trade those and get like all my money plus a little bit back if it comes to that.
That's true.
But I don't know. I wore my Almas today, so I put them in there.
Oh,
I really like those ones.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I sold
What
a
about
whole
you?
bunch of crap on eBay lately.
Oh yeah.
Like someone bought my 5 aquas, like the new ones.
Oh really?
Yeah, not
Weren't
for
those
like,
easy to get?
yeah, they were easy to get, but they were like not for crazy over retail. But I made like $15 on them. So,
Yeah, I mean, if I make my money back on those plus like $20, I'll be happy. I mean, just how often do you get exclusive access, you know?
hmm and
And
then,
I've heard that if you skip out on your exclusive access, you're less likely to get it or something. But we really don't know how the sneakers app works. So
no,
I
nobody knows how it works.
yeah.
It's like a black box. But then the people took the Whatnot people I bought those shoes from that eBay was giving me trouble about. I
Hmm.
brought it up to them and they're like, yeah, just send them back to us. If there's any question, we'll just take care of it. I said, cool. So I sent those back. And then another guy actually bought shoes from me on Whatnot. Like I have just some marketplace things on there.
Oh yeah.
And so he bought some Jordan 4 infrareds from me. And I finally dealt with that. And like all of them sold while I was in Seattle. I was like, why does this
Mm,
always happen? And I got back. I had to like reprint the shipping label because it didn't like populate right. So the support team had to help me. And then I shipped it out. And then today, so I shipped it out on Tuesday, 2 days ago. And today I get an email from Whatnot and they're like, oh, if you haven't sent those to that guy yet, don't. It's like a fraudulent account. And I'm like, what? Well, I already sold, I sent them out and I sent them the tracking number and they just paid me directly. They're like, okay, here you go. They're like, oh, all right. So,
wow. At least they have good like seller support, I guess.
yeah, and it was like instant, so I can't complain too much.
That's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even I mean, I my so it's been over 90 days since I sold the Travis Scott's,
Mm,
but my 90-day total is 550 between like those giveaway shoes that I won. I put some random clothes up. I
nice.
resold those like 11s that I had since I didn't really like them.
Hmm.
Someone finally bought those Air Force Adjust things or Air Adjust Force shoes. Someone finally bought the weird Air Maxes.
Yeah, my problem
And
with
then I
eBay is that it's too dumb to know that if your thing sells and they don't pay for it, it still goes in your total.
yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
So,
complain about
oh,
that a
yeah,
lot.
do I still have a couple? It's probably like $100 off cuz
Yeah.
I haven't checked. Oh, maybe like $75. Yeah. But I mean, whatever. So it's at like 500, but I put like the lights I took out from my truck too, like the original ones. So I have those listed now. I have them listed for pretty cheap and I sanded them and polished them so they don't look foggy anymore.
Nice.
Someone bought one of the bumper lights and I actually put my gold laser Jordan ones on there just to see if anyone would buy them because I don't wear them very much.
Hmm.
And if I could use that money towards like a different pair, I would do that. Like I think I've worn them less than 10 times. So like they're still in pretty good
In
condition.
good shape. Yeah, I think since the last time we recorded, I've got like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 pairs, which is, not great, but
Yeah. I think the only ones oh, my New Balances are supposed to get delivered tomorrow. I got the
nice.
bagel shoes.
Bagels.
Um yeah. I'll probably yeah, like I said, if no one buys those, I'm sure I'll be able to trade for like another Jordan 1.
Yeah, you'll get something out of them anyway.
I kind of like the washed pink ones too, but I'm not going to go for those.
Yeah,
How do you feel like do you think that these Jackie Robinson Air Force Ones will like be popular?
I can't decide because the
Cuz
last
like
ones were.
yeah, the dunks were like super
Yeah,
popular.
but I have
I
no
might go for
idea.
those anyways. I mean, I like baseball. I'm a sucker for gum bottoms too for some
Mm,
reason.
yeah, those are kind of nice. I have no idea. I'm kind of
Yeah.
waiting for a big drop because I've
Well,
spent a lot of money.
these Run the Jewels will be worth a lot if you're able to get those. I
Yeah.
think for dunks, anyways. One of my students, oh, I'm so mad. She hit on the Setsu buns,
Oh, you were telling me that. Yeah.
and according to like the KJ stocked, like all the sizes under 8 were like in the hundreds. I showed her that Instagram account that posts the stuff. I was like, you should follow this. And then I was like, it's not here anymore, and I don't remember what it was, but like your size had like 700 pairs.
Yikes.
And she was like, whoa, how did I get so lucky? I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
You'll get a lottery ticket, I
Because
guess.
she got the threes too, and hers didn't get stolen.
I did have those arrive finally, so I got a pair of those now too.
Nice.
Yeah, I need some things to sell though, and then we have the swap meet next weekend, so make a little money
Nice.
for once.
That's the thing where you had that guy with all the stuff, right?
The guy with all the stuff.
Like last year, there was like that guy with like the store or whatever, and he had like a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And then we went into that store and we looked at all his stuff into the antique store later.
Hmm.
The big one, the brick one.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully we get rid of a lot of crap. And it'll be good. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'll try to talk through some of this stuff today, but I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty sick, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't sound great.
And
And I feel like I'm losing my voice too, just from like allergies maybe and like softball.
yeah, and I almost killed myself in Seattle and everything
Oh,
hurts
yeah.
still. It was a good time.
I really am gonna have to like look at I mean I haven't had time because I like just got home from practice and ate dinner, but like I feel like I need to look at some recaps while we go through this because I
Oh,
really
yeah. I've got the
oh
first one up already.
episode 4 is when they're in Kansas, I guess, huh?
Yeah, episode 4, like not a ton happens, so it can kind of be one of the quicker ones. But we are finally continuing the rest of our Last of Us talks, and we did episodes 1 through 3 already, so we're just picking up at 4. Um,
Oh wait,
mhm.
did you listen to our Hot Man episode?
I did, yes. I left
What,
a
what
comment on the YouTubes.
Oh, did you? I
Yeah.
don't have I'm not signed into
Someone
that
else
account.
left a comment before me.
That was my student, I think.
But I was gonna tell you, I was like, maybe Jackie should just replace me because that has like 30 views on YouTube already, like way more than all our other episodes.
I
do.
wonder if it was just the topic. Like, I wonder
The
if it
hot
was
men
because,
thing.
yeah, and that's funny. Let me switch accounts. That's hilarious. Um,
But yes,
yeah.
I did listen to it.
I mean, we could try one with you where we talk about hot women and see if it gets like equal,
There you go.
like, equal views.
Look at some metrics a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if Mulk is my student.
Yeah, something.
I think he told me he commented, but I don't know. Nate, am I wrong? I don't know.
Who are you? And you're weird.
He said he was surprised that I posted exactly at midnight. And I was like, I scheduled it in advance. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
I think it just auto uploads, right?
Yeah. Like I when I uploaded, I set the time and date that I want it to 32 views, 2 likes.
Look at that.
I mean, we have a couple, like our Vox Machina season 2, part 4 has 25.
I know like one of the first ones we put on Demon Slayer on YouTube had quite a bit randomly.
Yeah, some of the ones I need to post more YouTube shorts because like most of them get like between 400 and 1.5 thousand views, which is like more than when I post on TikTok. I mean, I posted really pretty good on Instagram the week of spring break, and then some of our episodes have no views.
Oh yeah. Killing it.
I mean, honestly, YouTube's not even beneficial if we're actually trying to do anything with this. Like you have to have so many views and subscribers to even have anything. But since my students have been listening more, we have been getting a lot more downloads. So
nice. Well, that's good. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Oh, I heard a stupid joke on the radio this morning, so I was gonna say that too. It's one of those weird statement jokes, so it's like to make sure I can tell it right. But hey, did you hear that Dorothy's dog is going to be writing a memoir from his perspective in Oz? You know what it's gonna be called? Oh, she's thinking very hard. Scally face.
Does it have to do with the dog's name?
It does.
Can you say the joke again? Or the whatever?
So the dog is going to be writing a memoir of his experiences in Oz. What is it going to be called?
I don't know.
Toto Recall. Ha. Yeah. Now you get it. Classics.
My brain wasn't doing that.
It's kind of a random one. You'd have to like know the movie title too of like what they're referencing. So
yeah.
But
I told some of my students the joke where the skeleton walks in and asks for a beer and a mop, and they didn't think it was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
they were like, "How did he walk into the bar, though?"
I'm like, okay, well, nothing's funny if you dissect it like that.
Yeah, bunch of bitches.
Damn. Oh yeah. Anyway, Last of Us episode 4 is called "Please Hold My Hand," and it opens with Joel and Ellie kind of traveling the open road together.
Mhm.
You might recall, if you've either watched the series or our last episode on The Last of Us, that Tess is unfortunately no longer with us. So
She done did been dead.
she done and been dead,
She
and
been shroomed.
the trio has become a duo. It's just the two of
Mhm.
them. So
Joel is starting to warm up, even though he's not admitting it.
he is. He's kind of getting a little bit nicer to Ellie.
I thought there was something on here, but it's just a nipple.
Wow.
I was like, what is stuck to my little guy? And then I was like, oh,
For just people that are like listening, they're gonna be like, "What is she doing?"
I have a little man here that I painted. Okay. He's a buff Spartan guy.
She likes to just run her finger over his washboard abs when she has free time.
Yes. Sometimes
Mhm.
I'm like, what is the possibilities? And then I just like touch his abs. They're very defined. Like if he had a lower body, he'd have a vicious V.
Yeah, viciously,
Yeah.
indeed. So yeah, anyway, we're back with Joel and Ellie. They're doing the normal, like, open road traveling on their own. Um, the whole time Ellie really wants a gun, which is kind of a running theme for a couple episodes, but Joel's like, no, you can't have a gun. Um, and they're traveling in the little, Chevy S10 pickup that they steal from.
Mhm.
They don't steal it, but they took it from crap, I forgot his name. Was it Bob?
Bill.
Bill. So they have a car. Um, randomly, they seem to have like everything to themselves. There's like no one they're running into. They're just
Mhm.
kind of cruising.
They're cruising in the open road.
Yeah, exactly. Um, let's see. So they end up having to stop for gas along the way, like normal apocalyptic things. Um, so it's not very exciting. They hit like Chef Boyardee, um, and things like that.
This is
What?
an off tangent. Memphis. Jesus.
Okay.
But it reminds me of something that I said in class today.
You're
Um, I was talking to my students and I said something like, "You can't put all your beans in one can."
all right.
And one of my students was like, "You mean you can't put all your eggs in one basket?" And one of my other students was like, "No, she's from Burbank." So
Wow.
I have taught them because I make a thing like, "No, it's okay, I'm from Burbank," probably like 4 times a week.
So they're just used to it now.
Yeah, so I've trained them. So it was really funny.
Basically, I can say what I want when I want.
Yeah, and the just cans of Chef Boyardee just reminded me of cans of beans.
Okay, full circle here.
Yeah.
So along their way, Ellie's asking a whole bunch of questions about, how the world used to be. She's never been born into a world that is not this hot mess.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you imagine like having a child in the middle of a
no,
whatever?
I can't even imagine having a child right now.
Yeah.
It's wild, dude. But yeah, I don't know what you would do. Like the first like 3 years of that child's life, it would just be like constant, like, oh my gosh, is a thing gonna get it?
I mean, also I guess people gonna fuck no matter what. And there
That
probably
is
was
true.
not birth control during the middle of that. So
Yeah, I'm doubting pharmacies are still fulfilling prescriptions, unfortunately.
that's why it's best to be gay.
There you go. No chances.
Depends on the type of gay that you are, but
That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
So she's asking him a bunch of questions and he's like kind of telling her how the world used to be. He's like, oh, it was amazing. You could go wherever you wanted, basically. And she's like, well, where did you go all the time? He's like, nowhere. I pretty much worked.
Mm-hmm.
So because she's all seeing things in the distance, she's like, oh man, I would go everywhere if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. Um, Along the way, she has her joke book, which is called No Pun Intended Volume 2. So she's cracking herself up with jokes, and Joel is just not having it. But like you said, he's kind of softening up.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of making a friend. Um, so he kind of informs her along the way, like, hey, now that we're out in the world, you're probably gonna see things you haven't seen before, like tanks, helicopters. It was kind of wild out here when things started going on. And they're still riding around in the truck, and she randomly finds a nudie magazine with men in it because it was Bill's truck. Um, and he has her toss it out the window because she wanted to see what the fuss was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She also has her pun book during this episode.
she does, and she's really
We
going to
need
town.
that.
Yeah, we need that exact
I'm
copy.
gonna search it. Pun book from The Last of Us. No pun intended, volume 2. Is that a real book? I'm gonna go to Amazon. You know, my students were blown away that Amazon used to just be for books.
Back in our day, yeah, how things change.
There is a book called No Puns Intended, volume 2.
So I wonder if that had a big old spike in sales after this show, unless it was just made right after, but who knows. So eventually they get to a point where they're camping in the woods. They're not really lighting fires because they don't want to attract people. And he makes a point to say, you know, people might be the problem sometimes, not just the infected. So
I don't know if it's related, sorry, because
mhm.
this author, his first book came out in 2020 and his second book came out in 2023.
Okay.
And then there's another book called No Pun Intended, Volume 2, that came out in 2023 by someone called MJ Vander, like a completely different person.
Got it.
There's a bunch of books called No Pun Intended, Volume 2.
There's too many puns out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah,
got
they
distracted
camp.
already.
They're moving on. Um, Basically, he's trying to keep her at arm's length, still treating her like cargo to
Mm-hmm.
protect his poor little feelings and his soul, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think he's also kind of trying to protect her a little bit too, but
Yeah, for sure. And eventually they get to a point where they're trying to drive through the city and there's just a
mm-hmm.
blocked underpass. They cannot get through it.
Yeah. Well, I think were they not like they could have gone around that, but weren't they still on like the outside of the city? Like it was like a major highway next to a city. There just was like a better highway route they could have taken.
They tried to take the most direct one, but yeah, they were in the process of like, okay, well, this one's blocked. I guess we're gonna have to go a different way, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to go through the town instead, which was not their plan. Um, and it's filled with like, you know, piles of bones. It was part of the quarantine zone. There's tanks. It was like a battle zone at one point. So
Mm-hmm.
not the best place to be. Um, as they're driving through the town, though, they find someone pretending to be injured, trying to
Yeah.
get them to stop. Um, and Joel doesn't fall for it because he admits that he's pulled that same trick himself back in the day. Um, but from the scuffle, the car is crashed, and then they have a firefight break out, and they start shooting guns, and
Yeah.
things are
Didn't they
going
have a bunch
crazy.
of like road traps set up?
Yeah, they had like a whole alley full of like dedicated, you know, you're not getting through here type shit.
Yeah.
So they hole up in a garage and they're getting fired at from guns. He gets Ellie to hide in a wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then he proceeds to take out a couple of them that are attacking him. And then one of them actually gets the jump
Chainsaw Man.
chainsaw man. Yeah, Jackie got me this shirt.
Sorry, I just had that realization. At least I knew who it was.
You did. So he gets a couple, but he does get jumped by a third one who
Mm-hmm.
almost gets him. But little does he know that Ellie had stolen a gun from his bag and shoots the guy in the back.
In the spine.
In the
Like he
spine.
can't walk. He's still alive. He's paralyzed.
Yeah, that part was depressing. He like rolled him over and he's like, I can't
Yeah.
feel my legs, man. It's like, let me go home to my mom. And then
Yeah.
Joel kills him. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they lost their vehicle. They lost all their supplies pretty much except for their bags.
They're in rough shape now.
Because they had like a bunch of shit in there.
Mm-hmm. So they learn that this city is being like heavily patrolled by groups of these guys. So they're having to be real stealthy. They decide to go try to get to a high point in the city to kind of see what they're dealing with and plot an escape route.
Mm-hmm.
But now it used to be ruled by like Fedra soldiers, but they're noticing that pretty much everyone here is like normal people. They're not Fedra anymore. So they've been kind of overthrown.
Yeah.
is what it appears to
I
be.
guess I don't know that much about whatever this organization with this Kathleen lady was. Like, were those just like people who like took over, kind of like
Yeah, it's
kicked the Fedra
basically,
people out or whatever?
yeah, it was basically like a riot of like the normal people who overthrew Fedra in just the city. You know, that's
Mhm.
this Fedra rules most of the other places, but not here anymore.
Yeah.
So,
And
mhm.
then, and was that Kathleen lady someone special?
I mean, she was not necessarily anyone special. She was the leader of the rebellion.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
not like, yeah, I didn't know. And she had that doctor guy. So I'm assuming that doctor guy was he part of Fedra?
I guess I don't recall
Or
which doctor.
the guy that she kills in the room?
Oh yeah, he was part of her. She's bringing in a lot of people that are what they're calling snitches, which are basically they were normal people, but they were informants to Fedra.
Mm,
So they sold out a whole bunch of people in their organization. So she's getting revenge on them.
makes sense.
Yeah. So they're basically CIs. Um,
Yeah.
so we are kind of introduced to
So there's
this.
kind of like a lot going on. Like there's
It
not a lot
is.
going on, but there's like the two perspective. Like Joel and Ellie's perspective is not that intense, but like the glimpses into the other stuff we're getting has a lot of like loose pieces that
Yeah.
we don't really know for sure like how they connect. Because like, well, you just got into the part of like the first time we see like Kathleen and stuff, I guess. But
Yeah. So we kind of get a introduction to her, and it turns out she's like really searching for one person. She wants to kill all the collaborators that helped Fedra. Specifically, someone named Henry, though, is who is she hunting. So that's pretty much her whole goal. And they're like tearing apart the city to find this Henry. And now she gets word that, oh, like three of our guys have been killed by two randos that have wandered into the city. So these guys are also a problem now. So they start looking around. Joel and Ellie are
but
hiding
don't
out.
they wait? But don't they at first think that Henry killed their guys?
Yeah,
They don't know about the other people yet, right?
right. Yeah, they think it's just Henry going around killing people. But either way, they're like scouring the whole city, so they're afraid they're going to get found anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So Joel and Ellie kind of are trying to hide out. They end up getting into a tower. They get up to like 45 stories of this tower and camp out for the night. Um, and when they wake up, there is a kid hovering over Ellie with a gun, and then another kid holding a gun at Joel. So,
Are
mhm.
the is the rebellion group Fireflies or a different organization?
I want to say they
Or
were different.
because in this thing that I pulled up,
Hmm.
they refer to her as a Firefly agent, but I don't know if they're just using that like as like a stand-in for any rebellion group or not.
Yeah, that could be because it didn't really seem like there was a whole lot of specific talks of them being fireflies, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that.
And because later aren't they looking for Firefly specifically as good people? Like in a later episode? I think one of the ones we're going to talk about the next episode.
Right. Well, yeah, the Fireflies are like the same organization that Marlene was in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I don't think that these are that. I think maybe this article is wrong.
Yeah, that could be. Wow, the website that I was reading for my recaps told me I just have to subscribe if I want to read anymore. So that's very rude.
Oh, that's rude. I pulled up
Hmm.
an Esquire one, but I don't really think it's great.
Hmm. Well,
There's
maybe
a
you can walk us through the bare bones of that while I try to find a better one.
oh, okay. Okay. So they where'd you stop?
I stopped when the kids were holding the guns on them and they woke
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah, because they wake up to that.
Yep.
And so um they have a conversation or they share food or something.
They do. They share
Somehow
food.
they come to a conversation that they're not trying to hurt each other and that they can work together to leave.
Yeah, and basically at one point Joel looks and he's like, "Look, if you're gonna threaten me, make sure your kid has bullets in his gun. He knows the
Yeah.
gun's
And
empty."
the kid's Sam,
Yeah, I believe so.
he's deaf.
Right.
So Henry, his brother, is like talking to him in sign language, and Ellie is like finding ways to kind of like it seemed like maybe she had some like basic knowledge of like basic things because I mean they did like school.
Yeah, they were taught some things.
Um,
But this is revealed to be the same Henry that Kathleen is looking for.
yeah, and And in the middle of this, because at some point, Kathleen and that guy with all the facial hair like found their hideout, and there was like drawings all over the wall that
Mhm.
like Sam had done of them like wearing capes, kind of as like superheroes.
Yes.
I think that's like somewhere around this um same time. But basically Henry proposes a way for them to leave, like using these underground tunnels
Hmm.
um that come out kind of in like the suburbs or like outskirts of Kansas, like more in like a housing development.
Right.
And then they can cross like a bridge, and then they're basically out of Kansas. So that becomes the goal of like at least them working together to leave
Hmm.
Kansas, since Henry knows like the area. So they have to like go to like a bank vault or something. I think it was like a bank vault.
Yeah, like a basement in the bank building to enter
Yeah.
the tunnel.
And while this is happening, like the other group is like driving around looking for them. So they kind of have to be careful to like not be seen in the streets or
Yes.
like the big windows, like while they're doing this. And I think somewhere in here is where Kathleen is talking to the doctor guy, and she's trying to get him to confess to something, I think.
Yeah, I think she's just trying
Or
to get him to tell.
or take blame or tell her something, or
Yeah,
say that he was an informant or something. She's trying to get him to like
basically
confess
admit to
something.
being a snitch. And he was also the one that was like helping Henry and Sam around. So she knew that at one point he had been in contact with them, and was just trying to figure out where they were.
Yeah. But somewhere in this process, Henry's like, oh yeah, they like got rid of all the um what are they called? The mushroom people?
Well,
Um
they just call them the infected, I think.
oh yeah, yeah. They got rid of all the infected by like putting them down in the tunnels and then like burning them or something. I don't know if they talk about burning them, but they say that they put them down into all the tunnels. Maybe I'm making the burning part up.
Yeah, they put them
And
all in the tunnels, and he said, but what they don't know is that I know the specific section of tunnel had been gone through, and they had been removed
oh
from
yeah,
it.
they cleared them out or whatever.
Yep.
Um, so Joel is like hesitant, but then like what other option do they have really? So
Right.
when they first go into there, they end up in some little area that people had been using as like a hideout for a while, and there's like a bunch of like kid stuff and like painting on the walls, and there's like comic books, and so they like took a break
Yeah.
there. And then I don't think it really shows them traveling much through the tunnels because there is nothing there. Like they eventually come up out of it, and then they're in the neighborhood.
Yep.
And they're walking through a neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, bullets start like flying at them.
Yeah, like a sniper.
Yeah, sniper bullets. So they're trying to like hide behind cars and stuff. And I mean, you can obviously see like the glint of a sniper rifle, so like they know like where it's coming from. It's not like covert. But
Yeah.
so Joel decides to like run around and come up behind into the house to try to take the shooter out so that they can keep going.
Yep.
And he does that. Actually, the guy lets him kill him, right?
Well, he's gonna be like, Joel had the gun on him, and he's like, don't make me kill you. And he like the old guy like turned to swing to try to shoot him, so Joel had
Yeah.
to kill him.
But then as soon as that happens, he hears the radio. And
Right.
it's like Kathleen or someone saying like, keep them there, we're on our way or whatever.
Yep.
So Joel's like screaming out the window, like run, like right as all these like trucks like
They're coming.
start showing up. So they're trying to like make their way like towards the exit basically, but they get kind of trapped because there's a bunch of cars, and like cars are faster than people too. So like
that is a problem.
you know, they catch up, and then they hide behind a car, and she thinks they're all in the house. Like she doesn't know, like they're right there behind a car, and she's like talking in the direction that Joel was firing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Henry like shows himself because he's afraid that like everyone's gonna die, basically.
He's like, let everyone go. Here I am. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a house catches on fire, correct?
So yeah, they hear like this rumbling.
Yeah, kind
then-
of like earthquakey sounds.
Yeah, and then lo and behold, a sinkhole appears, and all
I
these
I thought
infected.
the house caught on fire first, and then the sinkhole happened.
Maybe it caught on fire from,
or maybe like a
guns or
car
something?
crashed into it with like a big gun and it like caught on fire, and then it.
Oh, you're right, because Hold on, I'm gonna have to mute for a second.
How dare. What a bitch.
So when Joel was up in
You
the
didn't hear
tower
that.
and the trucks were coming, yeah, I heard. He was able to get a shot on their big like panel turret van. And I think that when he shot the person, swerved into the house and opened it up, like you're saying. So
Have I showed you my ash from Mount St. Helens that my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Reine, gave us all?
no. It's
Yeah, I
random.
still have it. It's been 26 years.
There you go.
Or 20. How old do you have to be in kindergarten?
5.
I'm young, so probably 5. Yeah, I've had it for 26 years.
Look at that. Well.
I also have a piece of fool's gold that her husband was like a geologist or something.
Oh, okay. Now you're
Yeah.
breathing it in all nice.
Yeah, that's some 41-year-old ash.
There you go.
But anyways, yeah. So then all these infected come like screaming up out of the, whatever. So basically, it's a distraction for Henry, Sam, and Ellie to try to escape while Joel kind of protects them from above because he's a pretty good sharpshooter.
He's a good sniper shot, man.
Yeah. Some highlights, I guess. Sam and Henry get kind of like stuck under a car, and Ellie saves them. Ellie gets stuck in a van with some creepy looking infected who's trying to like attack her. But eventually they do make it. Oh, Kathleen gets bit.
She gets got.
She gets got AF. Good for her,
I guess.
Yeah.
A giant like behemoth of an infected comes up.
I took a picture of that and I sent it to Scott and I was like, what the hell is
this?
She
sent me that exact text. I was like, yeah.
Because it just like, what was it? Like, why did it look not like a human? Like all the other ones, even the ones with the big mushroom heads have looked like humans.
Well, it still had just like the general shape of it was just like bloated and huge.
You know what it reminded me of? Was Krampus in Call of Duty.
Big old Krampus.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find it in our text messages. Like, I was like, what the hell is this big ass dude?
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called in the games because obviously there's like the clickers and like the normal ones. That's definitely
but like,
some
how do
variation.
they exist? Like, if the infected are just humans, like, what the hell is the big one?
It's a big human, big boy.
But like, was it a human?
Yeah, I think they all were.
Oh, but it just was it like a football player?
Maybe.
Like, look at this.
Yeah, I mean,
he looks like a tree stump. It's like if Groot did meth.
It's like a very advanced stage of like, the clicker has its head mushroom and then the thing they just kept going and like mutating or who knows.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So there's one of those as well.
I'm having trouble figuring out when this episode ends because like something important happens.
Yes.
Is that the end?
The end is when the big thing happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they get out of the city and they kind of have a talk, and Joel basically convinces, like, they find a motel. And their original plan was to like split up after that night, like stay that night together, and then like Joel and Ellie would keep going to Wyoming, and Henry and Sam would do whatever. And it's like a double room motel, so they put the kids like to bed basically.
Yeah, right.
And Ellie is like reading a comic book to Sam, and then he shows her that when they were trapped under the car, he got bit.
Not
and he has is it on his leg, I think?
Yeah, it is.
But they don't want to tell the parents or the brother and the parents. Dad. Or they're not, neither of them are parents, whatever.
Yeah.
So Ellie is hoping that like her blood has like healing properties in it. So she like cuts her hand and like presses it on his wound basically to like see if that will do anything. Because she's like a teenager, so whatever. And then she kind of just like stays up and watches him. I think she falls asleep at some point, but and then they all go to bed. And while that is happening, like Joel and Henry are having this moment where Joel kind of convinces Henry to come with them instead of going separately.
I guess it should also be noted that throughout the episode, we found out that Henry had only sold out Kathleen's brother because he needed like life-saving medicine to save Sam. He had like cancer or some crazy stuff like that. So that was the reason that he sold them out, and that kind of got respect from Joel. He's like, okay, you're not just a snitch, you were saving your own, you know?
Yeah. And Sam is like 8 or something. Like he's not, I don't think he's very old. He's probably like 8.
Yeah.
But when Ellie wakes up, Sam is just sitting on the end of a bed with his back to her, like staring at the light coming in the window. And she goes and touches him, and he turns and looks at her, and then goes like feral, basically.
Yeah.
And starts chasing her and like screaming, and she like runs out of the room, and he is on top of her, basically. And so Joel like, starts to like pull out his gun, and then Henry like freaks out. And then Henry takes the gun. Does he takes Joel's gun? Yeah. And then he shoots Sam, his brother, because like, I mean, what you gonna do?
He's gone.
But then he's like instantly upset with himself.
Yeah.
He's like, what did I do? What did I do? And Joel tries to get him to like give him the gun, like give him back the gun, but he won't give him back the gun. So then he also shoots himself.
Yeah. And that's how the episode ends.
Yep.
Pretty depressing one, that one.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to have such a great ending too.
Yeah, that's how you knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, as soon as he showed his leg, I was like,
shit.
And then I was like, I don't think it works like that, Ellie.
Yeah, you smear blood on him all you want, but good luck. Yeah, so then that was 5. No, I did 4 first. 4 ended. Yeah. And so then 6 is just kind of a follow-up to that. They're both pretty super depressed and moving on with their travels after burying them. Oh yeah. Yeah. So after they fill it in, they continue their journey. And they stumble upon a cottage in the woods with this couple living in it, Marlon and Florence, who really gave no shits about being held hostage. It was pretty funny. Like, yeah. 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 It's like, what are you giving our food away for? And they were basically, yeah. Oh yeah, because Joel does this thing where he asks one of them, he's like, point at the exact same spot on the map where it is, and if you lie, one of you dies. And he just like looks at his wife, he's like, did you tell him where it was? Well, yeah. Like, all right.
It was so funny. But yeah, they're just like doing their own thing in like the literal middle of the nowhere. Like,
yeah,
it's snowy out.
I mean, they're in like Wyoming, right? It's like wilderness.
Yeah. And I think they must be like, let me look at a map of Wyoming, because they're asking about Cody, right? Which is like a bigger city in Wyoming. So I'm assuming they're probably in, like, if they were coming from Kansas, they're probably in like the southeastern corner, which I don't really think has much of anything in it. Like, is this Wyoming? Oh, well, I guess there's Laramie. So I wonder if they've already gone through. I need a whole map of America.
In this note thing, it says the pair tell them to avoid going west towards Jackson. So I don't know where that puts them.
Yeah. So they probably are somewhere in like southern, because Jackson, I think, is on kind of more towards Montana.
Got it. So they keep heading over, trying to find.
Oh, Jackson's on the border with Idaho. I forgot Wyoming's location.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So, but they're asking about Cody, right? Weren't they?
Yeah, Cody Tower or something like that.
Cody, Wyoming is like very north. It's, yeah. So Cody is, so like Wyoming is like a square basically or a
Hmm.
rectangle, and Montana and then Idaho. And Jackson's down here, and then Cody is like up here, like
Oh, okay. So they got a
more
little ways to
towards
go still.
yeah. So they're probably past Cheyenne and Laramie, which are the two big cities in the southeast. So they're probably like in like the middle of Wyoming where there is literally nothing. Like if this is
Nothing.
based on real Wyoming,
Yeah.
where the river is, they're probably like in between. They're probably yeah. I don't know. This is all just conjecture. I've never been to Wyoming, but there is like a big river system, which would make sense for where that dam was.
Hmm.
Um, kind of in like the middle, like the literal middle of Wyoming.
Oh yeah. So after they steal a rabbit from the couple, they get on out of there.
Yeah, Ellie's really into
She's
stealing.
a little klepto kind of. Um,
But he also he tells them not to pass a specific river. Like
mhm.
what when he's talking about going west, he's mentioning like a specific river of death, or is that what he
Yeah,
called
it's
it?
like
Like
if you cross that river, people don't come back, basically is what he's saying. It's like don't do it. But they're gonna do it
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so that night they talk about their dreams. Joel says he wants to live on a sheep ranch or whatever, and Ellie wants to go to the moon. Um,
As someone who grew up with sheep, I don't know that I'd want to have a sheep ranch,
she
but
doesn't know any better, or he doesn't know any better. All right,
yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, based on some mapped out things of The Last of Us, they're pretty much in like central Wyoming at that
Like
point.
bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're chilling that night. Joel falls asleep on watch, like bad. He like
Yeah,
hasn't been sleeping though.
he's having some like
Mental,
yeah, like things where he can't focus, sort
yeah.
of like a
He's having like full blown like panic attacks too. Like
yeah.
his heart's racing. He's like clutching it. He's like because after his little bout where Ellie had to save him, he's like, oh gosh, maybe I'm like too old and washed. I can't really do this anymore. I can't keep up with the young
Mhm.
folk, you know. Um, so she covers for him, um, and they cross the river.
Oh, Kansas City. That's Kansas City's in Nebraska, right? Kansas City, because there's like a
Yeah,
state,
yeah, I think
and
so.
they're in Kansas City. Okay, so yeah, they probably were never in the southeastern corner. They were just always in like the middle of Nebraska, which has like nothing.
Wyoming, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So they get across the river and they are ambushed by patrolmen on horseback. They have dogs to check if they are infected or not. So apparently they can
Hmm.
smell the infection. Joel freaks out and freezes because he's like, "Oh my god, Ellie's technically not infected, but it's in her bloodstream. Like, is it gonna trigger?" And he has like almost a full blown panic attack right there, but it doesn't react to her. Luckily,
Oh,
um,
Kansas City's in Missouri.
there you go.
I don't know Midwestern geography.
We have
It's
no
weird.
need.
Oh, it's right on the border of Missouri and Kansas. That makes sense. Okay, sorry. I get really distracted by like geographical things or knowing how to do things or
Yeah,
but it basically I guess there's nothing in Nebraska, but it skipped all of Nebraska. It didn't show them going to Nebraska. And you know what? I want to know what Nebraska is like during this.
it was probably really boring.
Like what happened to all the corn?
It died. So they give the patrolmen their names, um, and they bring them to their settlement, and their leader, named Maria, agrees to bring them in. Once they're in the community, the pair they find it's like, holy cow, this is like a functioning town here. There's like all these people, there's like houses, there's water, there's clothes, like it's crazy. Um, and in there, Joel spies his brother Tommy. Holy cow, they finally have found him.
Oh, wait, did we do the part where where what's her name asks who his brother is?
Who his brother is.
Like when they're in the circle, he's like, I'm just looking for my brother. And then what's her name rides up over on her horse and she's like, what's your brother's name? And he's like, Tommy. And then it's just like you
Oh,
can
I
kind of
don't. I think
tell.
they did it kind of in a reverse way because I think he was like, I'm looking for my brother, and then she was like, what's your name? And he's like, Joel, and then she was like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
oh, so she
Yeah,
doesn't
maybe
come
that's what it
right
was.
out and say it.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, the dog was so friendly after it.
yeah,
It went to like instant pets.
Yeah, Ellie was just having a good time petting it. So um, the brothers are reunited. Um, he learns that Tommy has married Maria, who is the leader, who is also, I think that was Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Oh, is that why she looked familiar?
Yeah. Um, and they are effectively, in a collective town, peaceful society, and it's kind of nice, you know?
Hmm.
So Joel and Tommy go to catch up over drinks. Um,
But they've done a really good job of like protecting the fact that they exist. Because
yeah,
like that older couple was like, don't go past the river
yeah, they like,
because of these people. They're protecting like their community and they don't want other people to know that it's like actually there. So they do this whole like bandit thing to like
yeah, scare him
keep,
away.
yeah.
So basically, they're saying, oh, yeah, anyone that goes over there disappears because, well, if you go over there and you're like a good person and not infected, they probably take you in.
Yeah. Also thought it was interesting because it was very much like Wild West
Yeah.
modern stuff because they had like electricity and
Yeah.
like stuff like but not like but like the older form because I almost feel like in all of these things where like some big pandemic type thing happens, it's like the older form of technology is a technology that still works. Like you can't still have like your cell phone in this.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, also it was like 2003, so cell phones weren't as popular, so maybe that's why this is standing out to me. But like they were watching like VHS, which even by like 2003 was
Well,
like
this
less.
is 2023
Right.
is the current.
I know, but like when they went into the
Oh, I get you. I get you. Yeah.
like we didn't have like there wasn't this version
As
of cell
prevalent.
phone.
Yeah. They're,
Yeah. But it's almost like the 10-year older technology that was more well established is the stuff that's still working
right.
in the post
Yeah. No one's there to
whatever.
like pioneer and work on new shit
Yeah.
anymore.
But since they're so close to the dam, that's how they're able to have power because
Yeah.
they routed it to work with their stuff.
Yeah. They get that stuff. Um, So while they're catching up, Tommy tells him like, "Hey, the Firefly main base is at the University of Colorado, so you could take her there."
Gotta
Um,
go to Boulder.
but he refuses to go with Joel because he's basically like, "Oh, Maria's pregnant with my child, so I don't
Mhm.
want to take any risks." Um, this is where Joel gets like irrationally angry and he's like super not happy about him being a father. Um, and he like storms out all like pissy.
It's not her.
Oh, it isn't.
Mm-mm.
Who is it? She's in
Also, I
something.
didn't know that The Walking Dead like just ended last year.
Yeah, it's been
I
going for
never
a
watched it
minute.
after spoiler alert. I never watched it after Glenn died.
Yeah.
I literally stopped watching it.
What else is she in? She's in something I've seen.
Here, let me look it up.
Because she's very familiar. I haven't seen The Walking Dead in so long. That's probably why I was like, there's no shot she's in another zombie thing, right? Or basically.
Uh, you would think it would be easy to find because like they're all in like 2 episodes, but they're all in like 2 episodes, so it's not easy to
That's
find.
yeah, that's true.
Anyways, you keep talking. I'll look.
Yeah. Um Continuing, so Ellie is with Maria. Um and she gives her new clothes and she gives her a haircut. Um Ellie learns about Joel's daughter because they have like pictures and things from Tommy.
Mhm. And Maria like mentions it,
Yeah, she's like,
assuming that Ellie knows because they've spent so much time
and
together.
she was like, "What? No, I didn't know that."
Um, she was in actually one episode of The Walking Dead, but what she's in that you would have seen is True Blood.
Oh, yeah. And I've only seen like two episodes of that, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who she is in it.
She I think she was like a main character because she's
She
in 80
was, yeah.
episodes.
Okay, cool. Um, so Ellie does say, well, she's like, I know that Joel's like super violent. He was like a bandit. He did all this bad stuff, but she did not know about his daughter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but basically Maria's like, hey, I wouldn't trust him if I were you, trying to kind of drive a wedge in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and so that night Ellie's like able to
She
do a little.
has really big like I settled this man down vibes. I don't
Oh,
need him to have a distraction. You know what I
basically,
mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Don't come in here and mess my shit up right now.
yeah.
Um, so Ellie continues hanging out with people in the town. They're able to watch movies and do things, she hasn't really been able to do. Um, Tommy and Joel reconnect after their little blow up. And basically Joel comes clean and kind of breaks down and he says, look, I'm like I'm not the guy I used to be. I don't think I can get her there anymore.
And I think part of that is because he's worried about whatever it is going. Like if he's having like panic attacks or
Yeah,
whatever it is, like he's worried about his ability to like protect her.
exactly. He's like, I just don't think I can physically do it anymore. She's already had to save me one time, like I would have been gone if she wasn't here. Um, he tells him all about like the Henry and Sam thing. They nearly died in Kansas City. So he begs Tommy to take Ellie. He's
There's
like,
also sorry.
yeah,
There's also a lot of dramatic things going on in this because like he first he stays to like catch up with Tommy and like the stable and like Maria takes Ellie and like takes her to a house and like gives her clothes and like a diva cup and she's like this is kind of gross.
oh
Like
yeah,
there's like all this like other stuff going on and then Joel gets kind of like mad I think at some point and like goes off by himself and he's like
oh
working on his boots.
yeah. You must have glossed over
Did you
everything
say
that I
that?
said when you were googling.
Okay, never mind. JK, Scott talked about it
Okay,
all.
okay.
I only threw in the diva cup. I guess that was
Yeah, you did add that. I did not say that.
well, I mean, yeah, because like I've always been kind of like I don't know how to feel about these.
Yeah, it's a very weird concept.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talk about liking them, but I
Yeah,
don't want to do it.
yeah. No, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, well, it is a lot of work anyways.
True, true. So in the morning, Ellie's all pissed because she learns that Joel is basically pawned her on Tommy. She's like, I wanted to finish this with you, and you know, you're not staying with me. I thought we bonded and all this. You're leaving me as well. But they go to the stables, and Joel is there waiting for them. And basically, he's like, "Look, you deserve a choice. If you want me to take you, I'll take you." And before he even like finishes his sentence, she's like, "You're going with me." Like so, Tommy stays. Joel takes him. Tommy gives Joel his nice gun and promises him that he has a place here when you return. He's like, you're welcome here. Um, on their journey, Ellie and Joel are bonding. Joel teaches her how to shoot the gun. They're actually like going through things that normal, probably father daughters would do. A week later, they reach the university, but it's like totally empty. No one's here. They return to the horse, but then they are attacked by raiders, of course. Though Joel is able to kill
also
one.
a lot of chimps.
A lot of chimps. There were a lot of monkeys there. Yeah. And then Joel is able to kill one of the raiders.
Or orangutans or something.
They were like, I think all forms of primates, I guess.
Yeah.
But Joel is stabbed defending, and it was like a big reveal. It was like he looked down, and he was like, "Oh my god, there's a knife in me." They get on the horse and run, but after running for quite a while, Joel passes out and falls off the horse, and Ellie basically is like, "Get up! What do I do?" Blah blah blah, and that's where it ends because they always give you a little cliffhanger right at the end.
Yeah.
So
they have a good horse, though.
They do have a good horse.
He's a trooper.
Well. Yeah. So there we end our what was it? 4 through 7.
6.
Joel's hurting. Well, that was
4 through 6.
7, right? Because it goes. Whoa, yeah, I'm counting wrong. Did we just do an extra episode?
Did we?
Oh, I think
no, because I've watched the next episode.
Oh,
or I started it. I didn't finish episode 7, but I started episode 7.
Well, that was just through 7.
Maybe.
According to this, unless they just labeled it wrong. Hold on, let me scroll back up. That's 6. That's 5. And that's 4.
No, I have a New York Times episode recap up, and it ends with him slumping off the horse. And I trust the New York Times.
Okay, good. All right, we ended in the right place then.
Because I started episode 7 and then I didn't finish watching it because I was like, well,
yeah,
I should probably wait.
So yeah, that's 4 through 6. The next 3, we get a little cliffhanger of Joel being injured again. So here we go.
Yeah. But I don't know what you just said. I just said yeah. Oh. I'm so tired.
I just said we ended on a cliffhanger again, but
oh, yeah.
Obviously still good episodes, interesting, and yeah, we keep going. It's
yeah. So in 2 weeks we'll talk about the last episodes.
Yeah.
And then maybe after that we'll talk about Hot Women.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always down for that.
I'm just like extra tired this week because it's like the first week after spring break. I on Tuesday we had one game in Hermiston. It started at 5. the varsity game took longer, obviously, because it was like a close game.
Mhm.
They won actually. Also, timeout. So you know how I told you that like the previous varsity coach like ruined the program,
Right.
and that when the varsity won their game a couple weeks ago, it was the seniors' first win at all in high school softball.
Yeah.
So Tuesday was their first conference win in
Mhm.
over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So like that's how bad. So I feel like for only the second year with the new coach, like they're already doing like so much better. Like
Yeah.
next year they should actually be like really good. But yeah, so then we stopped to eat. Also, we forgot a girl. Like one of the varsity girls
Oops.
almost always rides home with her family. So when she wasn't on the bus, no one thought like
Oh.
anything about it. And then she called one of the girls to be like, yeah, I was in the bathroom and like luckily we were just like a block away. So
Okay.
we easily went back. But then we stopped to get food at McDonald's and I was so hungry. I was like, well, if I don't eat now, I'm gonna eat at 10 p.m. So I guess
Yeah.
screw my macros for today. I had like so many more carbs than I was supposed to. But then my dog was at my parents' house, so we like got back to the school, and then I drove to my parents' house, and then I got home. It was like 10:05 when I got home,
Mhm.
and so I was like so tired. Like I'm still tired from that. And then yesterday we had a fundraiser. I didn't have to stay as late as I thought I would though. Like I was home by like 6. But I had a headache all day yesterday, I think from like being tired on being like home late and whatever. And then tomorrow we have 2 games.
Dude, I went to bed at 9 last night, so you know I was fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to bed pretty early for me too. Not at 9, but like,
Mhm.
is your job still being stupid?
Yeah. It's
Like, or not your job, but like that dude,
yeah, there's
that
and it's
bitch.
only gonna well that project's luckily almost done, but
Oh.
we have another one bidding right now, and he's probably gonna go for it. And I swear to God, if he
How's
gets
your
it,
Gen Zer?
he's doing fine, but he might get thrown. Like our head of our transportation department wants him to be the inspector on the big roundabout. And like him. It's like he's barely inspected and you want to throw him on this giant job. Okay. So I actually have to talk to him about it tomorrow and see where we land.
Hmm.
It's gonna be crazy. But yeah.
Whenever I try to, this is random, but whenever I try to get FedEx, even if it's days in advance to let me hold a package at a location, it will never let me
Yeah, FedEx is kind of whack.
because it's getting delivered to my parents and I'm not taking my dog there anymore. So I was like, maybe I can like get it held at like a location to like, because like but one time I tried to do it like 3 days in advance and I live by like a Walgreens that's a location you can get it held at and it just like wouldn't let me.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways,
we're probably long. We probably do the outro.
yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add? Oh, I've been blocking my shoes for a long time.
I don't think so. I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Well, we've appreciated you all listening to us. Did we become besties?
Nice.
Let us know. Leave us a rating or review on any podcast app that lets you do that, which is mostly Spotify and Apple. It's the only 2 that matter. You can also like and subscribe at those places and download our episodes. You can follow us on our socials at 5 the number 5 MMPOD. You can send us an email to 5FIVE more minutes pod at gmail.com. And of course, you can share us with your friends and family, your friends who are your family, and your family who's more like family, bitches.
Yeah, and go follow Twitter, I guess. I do post clips on there to my 16 followers. So what's up?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Scott's all about the tweets.
Other than that, I guess we'll clock out till next time.
Bye.
Dude.